Welcome to section 10.2, part 2. This is the 97th session of the CISSP exam prep series. This part carries the same facility controls forward into detection, alarms, and recording. In this session, we'll focus on catching intruders in the act. We'll answer several questions. What is a physical intrusion detection system, and how can it be defeated? How do motion detectors sense someone moving? How do you know when a perimeter is crossed? What does an alarm actually do once it triggers? How do you cut down on false alarms? What role do cameras really play? How do people abuse physical access? And how do you store media so it stays safe? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because detection is where physical security earns its keep. Picture a distribution warehouse, a boutique bank branch, and a media production studio holding unreleased footage. Each one needs to know the instant something is wrong and to have a clean record afterward. When your detection is layered and your logs are solid, you respond fast and reconstruct events with confidence. When it is thin, you find out too late and cannot prove what happened. So what is a physical intrusion detection system, and how can it be defeated? It is a system, automated or staffed, that spots an unauthorized entry or an event happening at the wrong time. In physical form, these are burglar alarms, often using a simple contact switch that senses when a door or window opens, plus foil strips or wire grids that catch broken glass. But two weak points can silence one. If it loses power, it stops working, so a reliable system carries a battery backup good for at least a full day. And if its communication line is cut, no one gets notified. So it uses a heartbeat sensor that constantly checks the pathway and trips the alarm the moment that signal drops. Together, those defeat an intruder who tries to cut the power or the wires. How do motion detectors sense someone moving? Each type watches a different physical signal, and you pick the one that fits the space. A digital detector flags meaningful changes in a camera-like image. A passive infrared type reads shifts in heat. A wave pattern or microwave detector bounces a signal and watches the reflection for disturbance. A capacitance detector senses changes in the electromagnetic field around an object. A photoelectric detector notices changes in light, so it suits windowless rooms kept dark, and a passive audio detector simply listens for abnormal sounds. To cut false alarms, a dual technology sensor combines two of these, usually infrared and microwave, and only reacts when both agree. How do you know when a perimeter is crossed? With sensors placed right at the boundary, a contact device detects a door or window opening, often using a balanced magnetic switch, two small units on the frame and the door that hold a circuit until the magnet pulls far enough away to break it. Wire that straight to an alarm, and the instant the door opens, it sounds. An infrared linear beam sensor projects a beam across an opening, and when a person walks through and blocks it, the brake registers. Think of the safety beam at the bottom of a garage door that stops it from closing on a bag. Cross that invisible line, and the system knows. What does an alarm actually do once it triggers? It launches one of three kinds of response. A deterrent alarm makes further intrusion harder, engaging extra locks or closing doors. A repellent alarm drives the intruder off, blaring a siren and flooding the area with light. A notification alarm stays silent to the intruder but records the event and quietly summons administrators, guards, or police, hoping to catch them in the act. Alarms are also grouped by where the response lives. A local system sounds on site and needs guards nearby to react. A central station system is monitored off-site by a firm that responds for you. And an auxiliary system loops in emergency services like fire, police, or medical. You can blend these into one solution. How do you cut down on false alarms? By demanding a second opinion before you trust the first. The more sensitive a sensor, the more often harmless things set it off. Animals, birds, blowing trash, or even authorized staff. So you deploy two or more detection systems and require several to trigger together in quick succession before an alarm is raised. Cameras play into this too, but a camera is not an automatic responder. Someone has to watch the feed, unless it has smart detection built in. So a visible camera works as a deterrent, while reviewing its footage after a trigger works as detection, exactly like an audit trail. Pair a primary sensor with a camera, and you confirm real threats without chasing every shadow. What role do cameras really play? They deter unwanted behavior and create a lasting record. Position them at entries, exits, hallways, and around valuable assets with clear sight lines. Make them overt to warn people off, or hide them to quietly capture wrongdoing. Cameras vary widely, some fixed, some offering remote pan, tilt, and zoom, and many recording to local or cloud storage in visible or infrared light. Advanced units run their own processing for facial recognition, object detection, or time-lapse, and some even track movement or read gait, the unique way a person walks, as a biometric. But smart cameras can be fooled by weather or wildlife, and being network connected, they can be attacked or hijacked, so back them with a secondary check. How do people abuse physical access? Usually by exploiting trust or a propped open door. Common abuses include wedging a secured door open, bypassing a lock, or using someone else's credential to impersonate a valid person. Tailgating and piggybacking mean slipping in behind an authorized employee, either without their notice or with their misguided courtesy. The defense is watchful people and solid records. Audit trails and access logs, whether captured by a guard's pen or automatically by smart cards, let you see who requested entry, whether they were authenticated, and how long a door stayed open. Tie those logs to camera footage, and you can reconstruct exactly what happened during an incident. How do you store media so it stays safe? By protecting it against theft, corruption, and leftover data. A media storage facility holds blank, reusable, and installation media, all locked away rather than left on an open shelf. Blank media must be secured so no one steals it or slips malware onto it before use. Reusable media is riskier because standard deletion only marks space as free and leaves the original bits recoverable by a simple undelete tool. Those leftover bits are data remnants, and you erase them with secure wiping or zeroization, then verify with a hash check. Put a librarian in charge, track everything with a check-in and check-out process, and know the difference between a safe, a movable strongbox, and a vault, which is built permanently into the structure. So let's bring it together. A physical intrusion detection system spots unauthorized entry, and you shield it against power and line attacks with battery backup and a heartbeat sensor. Motion detectors sense heat, light, sound, waves, or fields, while perimeter sensors catch a door opening or a beam breaking. Alarms deter, repel, or notify, and you fight false positives by requiring multiple triggers and backing sensors with cameras. Cameras deter and record, but they need a human or a secondary check. Watch for access abuses through solid logs, and store media locked, tracked, and fully wiped. Layer all of this, and nothing crosses your boundary unseen. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on rucloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.